A lot of people have been complaining about the new LinkedIn algorithm, what's changed, and literally frustrated that they're seeing the same kind of content in their feeds over and over again. Posts are kind of hanging around for a long time. But importantly, the stuff that they were sharing now seems to go nowhere. So I wanted to kind of put together some thoughts to help you improve how your content gets out there so it lands with more of the right people. So in this video podcast, we're going to talk about some universal algorithm principles that apply on any platform, but particularly apply on LinkedIn right now. So algorithms have got more sophisticated. It used to be that people would just get content based on what they've engaged with previously and who they follow. So if you followed me today, you are pretty much guaranteed of seeing my content. But as AI has come in, it's no longer guaranteed that any of my followers or any of your followers will see anything from you. And this really is not about, something you've done. It's about the platforms wanting to keep people engaged for longer. And so now they don't need our following signals to basically decide who gets what content. Now they can just look at each individual piece and see who it's a fit for. So the algorithm's looking at this post has done well with this kind of person. It's probably good for this person. So that's a frustration, but it's also an opportunity. It means that the big advantage of large followings is kind of diminishing. But it does mean if you don't have a big following, it gives you an opportunity to stand out. And so I want to talk about some key things that I think are going to be important for you as an expert coach or consultant where you don't have a ton of time to think about how you put out content. So there's a couple of things that really do matter. And this one's particularly important for LinkedIn now. So what many people have done for a long time is made a profile on LinkedIn and then basically talked about whatever they want. And this has been a brilliant hack for growing a social following on LinkedIn, where you talk about anything from toxic workplace to generalized motivational quotes, and you will get a ton of traction. Now, the algorithm's more looking at, are you talking about topics and do they align with your overall presence on the platform? So in other words, if Dean's talking about social selling, if Dean's talking to coaches, experts, and consultants on his profile, is he doing the same thing in his content? If he isn't, he's stepping out of his topic and subject matter. And so what LinkedIn's doing is saying, I'm looking for the people with deep expertise. I'm looking for the people who have solid knowledge and wisdom on topics so I can share that with other people. So very often, we like to do more of different things. We get bored easily and want to share more content. Actually, the power for you is actually rotating around a smaller number of topics and making sure that your profile aligns with those topics so that LinkedIn's algorithm can see the consistency between what you're sharing and who you say you are. So that's really, really important to think about that and go, what am I sharing here that actually is going to help people? So really think about who's my audience? The days of being able to talk to lots of people are over. You will get trampled over. You will get squashed if you try and appeal to too many people because you won't resonate with anybody. And that's what the algorithms are looking for. So first things first, align your profile and your message so that your content actually is just rotating around some key themes and topics. That is critical. Second thing you need to think about, we need to reframe what the element of our visuals are on LinkedIn. So, and this is true for any platform, but what I'm talking about is the visual feed appeal. Sometimes we get this wrong and we think about how our images or our assets, what the purpose of them really are. We think it's part of the post. In reality, if you think about it, the biggest bit of real estate you have on any post is the asset you put to it. Whether that's the first page of a carousel, the thumbnail of the video, whether it's the image that they see, it is the first biggest bit of real estate you've got to stop people scrolling past your content. And so you need to think about and reframe how you think about your visuals on LinkedIn. Is it there to be the message or is it to arrest and grab attention? So your visuals should be the last thing you make, and they should be the purpose of the visual, what they see in the feed should be to grab their attention. Bright colors, bold text, really kind of surprising stuff. That's what you've got to do now. People are scrolling so fast that you could have a brilliant set of points in your post, but people will not pay attention because the visual was boring. The visual was something predictable. The visual didn't hook them in. So this visual feed appeal has become absolutely critical. So you need to plan and build and optimize for a visual that grabs attention. Now, the next thing is actually 3 different ways to present your content. And I'm just going to share this from my perspective. And I've been talking about this for a while, called attract, nurture, and convert content. Your content and each post you do will get different results and it will achieve different goals. There are 3 main goals that you should have with your content. Object number 1, or goal number 1, is to get attention, to draw people in. Why does that matter? Because a big driver of your visibility is who has engaged with you in the past. So people who've engaged with you in the past are more likely to see your content. So attract content's primary purpose is to build your visibility in the feed. So this kind of content, for many years, you could just do whatever you wanted, and that would be fine. But now the algorithms are a bit more sophisticated. You have to think about, how do I stay on topic but have the broadest possible reach? So here's the way I think about it. Number 1, I think about, what's my topic for this post? So let me do, LinkedIn profile. So I'm going to do a post about LinkedIn profile. So I'm anchored to my topic, social selling and all that kind of stuff, but I'm focused on LinkedIn profile. For attract content, I have to make it as broad as possible so that everybody can appeal to it. So I could do, for an example, a meme mocking the LinkedIn culture of people saying they're a freelancer and call themselves 7 times award-winning, blah, 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 blah. The kind of the pumping of our chests and puffing up of our chests that we do on LinkedIn to kind of show that we're cool and we know what we're doing. So I could do a post that's kind of mocking that culture, have a bit of fun with it. Everybody can have a little giggle at it, but I'm staying on topic. So I've got broad appeal on my topic area. So that's attract content, and its purpose is to drive visibility. Yep. Then, if we do that well, we will get more viewers at future posts. So if we have these pillars of attract content in our plan, they will drive our visibility up, which means our next category of post, nurture posts, these are about being really useful, really helpful, really practical for our target audience. So if we think the attract people got us loads of attention, this one now filters in, gives value and helpful information for the very people we want to be our customers. So that's very tactical, very helpful, very practical, and the right people hang around. So the nurture content is almost the attract content brings people in, the nurture content filters for the right people. So these are not going to do as well, say, as the attention-grabbing posts and the attract posts, but they will do better because of the attract content. So the attract content basically sets these up. So people come away from your nurture post trusting in you, seeing you've got lots of experience, lots of value to add. They benefit from hanging around you, so you get more quality followers from nurture content, which leaves us with the final batch of content, which is your convert content. Now, where people go wrong with this stuff is they do too much of it. Instead of really just focusing in and going, right, let's do one really good promotion per week, they try and promote in everything, and it ruins their content. It's all about them. And realistically, for your attract content and your nurture content, it's all about other people. Now, this convert post is all about you trying to drive action. So this is where I do my wow posts. If you're on my Substack newsletter, there's a whole walkthrough on how to do a wow post over there. They can drive inbound leads. It's where your loaded polls come in. It's where your self-propelling posts come in. It's where your hard promos come in. So these convert posts will be the poorest performing in terms of engagement and impressions because they are direct promos in some way, but they will drive leads. Now, if you do too many of them, you kill your visibility and kill your engagement. So aim for one good quality convert post per week. If you've done the other stuff well, that's all you need. The visibility building, the trust building, now we've got the lead building or the lead driving. So these can be straightforward promos. They can be more sophisticated like wow posts, which, I use all the time. These are killer posts to help you drive leads. If you put content over a period of, say, 2 weeks, more than 25% of your content is conversion driven, you are going to suffer, because that will drive your engagement down and down and down, and you'll get less visibility. So think about it a little bit like, a TV show. If you've got TV adverts in there, in the TV show, it's an hour-long show, and you've got 3 adverts in there, one every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then the end of the show. You've got a few ad breaks in there. TV, media, newspapers have already figured all this out, that if you put a certain percentage of commercial promo stuff into a newspaper or a TV show, people will zone out. They've already figured that out. And if you're going against that pattern, you're basically saying you know better than basically the entire industry of content, which is TV and news media. It's all content. It's just delivered in a different platform, but people don't change. So 20 to 25% of your content max should be what we class as hard promo or convert content. So remember, I'm going to give you a couple of final tips as well, just on this. That visual, I know I said it at the beginning, is so important. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not about becoming an amazing designer. It's about learning how to grab people's attention. And so what I've found, even though I've got a face for radio, is me putting a picture of myself doing something, even when, I don't like doing proper photo shoots and posing and stuff like that. But even me just doing general stuff is massive for this. So using candid shots really works well. But the job of your asset, what they see in the feed, is just to stop them scrolling past. It's just to draw people in. You miss this, what you end up doing is slapping your logo on it, slapping your promos on it, slapping your branding on it, and it all can work against you. So I don't put any branding on my post. I don't put my company logo on it, other than if it's a proper promo, because I don't want people being confused of, is this a real post or is it an ad? And so that's really, really important that you think about your visuals. Some of you have got brilliant content already going out, but the visuals are just letting it down. And I'm not talking about you becoming a Canva person. I'm talking about you're not thinking about what the image's job is. You're thinking it has to support the post, when actually it has to stop people scrolling so they read the post. So it can't be bait and switch, but it also has to create that curiosity and that visual appeal that draws people in. So, sometimes I'd put, your sales calls will do massively better once you learn this, and it's a picture of me. And then they want to know what it is, and they click through. So just be really creative with those visuals. And then you need those attract, nurture, and convert content. You need all 3, not just one. You can go, if you go all in on attract, you'll gain loads of followers, loads of engagement. But as soon as you start talking about what you do, they will clear out. Nurture content, great stuff. And you will build a steady, consolidated, loyal following, but they won't buy anything, and it will be a struggle to grow. And if you do convert, you'll drive yourself into the ground. You'll be totally invisible. So yes, the algorithms are changing. Yes, it's harder than it used to be. Yes, it's frustrating, but actually it's just about staying on your topic, aligning your profile and your message, being consistent with your topics, breaking it down into attract, nurture, and convert, and remembering the power of those visuals. They can make or break your post.